Welcome to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, where we explore all kinds of things, stories about quilting, tools, field trips, maybe some famous quilters stop by, and, of course, a little bit of copyright thrown in just for fun. I'm Elizabeth Townsend Guard. I'm a law professor, and I just want to quilt. So today, Cheryl Sleboda comes back and talks with us. Cheryl is awesome. She's been on the show a couple of times. We're trying to understand giveaways, and she does do giveaways on her live show and in other instances, and she's just understands the industry. So we talk with her to understand giveaways. I hope you enjoy it. Tired. It's kind of overwhelming. Life is overwhelming sometimes.
Oh,
yeah.
I know what you mean. I agree.
I don't know how
you do this.
Can
everything just slow down?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but this experiment is exhausting. I have to say.
Oh.
But it's good.
Well, I'm glad it's going so well.
So I have a couple questions for you. I'll catch you up on what we've done, what's happened so far this week. So the podcasts are now in a regular thing, so that's good. And, we're settling into that routine. Our numbers are growing, but not great. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if it matters, but, we slowly, every time we get a little bit more and it's slowly growing, but it's weird. So that's one. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't, we've tried all kinds of different things. It's interesting to see, if we interview a shop and they send it out to their listeners, is that going to, or to their customers, is that going to have us a bump? A famous person, is that going to bump us? Is it going to, and, we see a little bump, but not enough. It's just a slow, steady kind of growth, which I think is okay. But it's interesting that we interviewed somebody from Quilting on a Budget that's got 30,000 people, and we saw about 100 more people listen. So, it's interesting that
okay.
So I don't know if you've experienced that too, but it's the social media thing, it's interesting, right? How you grow things.
Do you think it's demographic wise? Do you think it's a demographic issue?
I don't know. Could just be us. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
No, only because, you and I both know what a podcast is.
Yeah.
And I don't know that, is the average quilter
gonna know
a podcast?
Yeah.
I think that's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. We saw I was on Leah Day's show this week. We had taped it, but it aired, and we saw a bump in I think, let's see, we went to let's see where we are in our numbers. And I'm okay with our numbers not growing. It's just as part of the experiment. So we gained probably 40 members this week, which is pretty good. We're at 239 for the, and so, but it's, it's interesting to see, it's hard work to grow these things. Maybe they grow organically and you just get a bazillion people, but that experience has been really interesting on the entrepreneurial side. It's a lot of work to get each person.
Well, and I do think that that's the case when it comes to individual people. It's not like you can go out and pay for a boost. Although you could pay for a boost on something on Facebook, let's say, you could do Facebook advertising.
Well, we're doing that.
Promote the
podcast.
This week.
Yeah, we did that this week. We haven't done it for the podcast, but we did it this week for the giveaway. So we're doing a giveaway, which has been so stressful. So we had to figure out what we were going to give away, which we did. And we got a company to donate $50. The Stencil Company is our first giveaway. Then we had to figure out why we were giving it away. Then we had to figure out how to give it away. Then we had to see if it was legal. So it's taken us weeks to get the giveaway all figured out. Again, really a lot of work. It's amazing to sort of, my hat goes off to you and others that do this all the time that are successful at it, because it is really not easy. There's a lot of parts to all of it,
Yeah. And, I have a lot of feelings about giveaways.
Yeah. So that's, I don't, we wanted to experience it, but I'm really curious what your thoughts were. That's why I wanted to chat with you about sort of, tell me about your thoughts about giveaways, and why should one do them, and what sort of your thoughts about them are. But But
yeah, so there's like I'm of two minds on giveaways in a lot of sense.
So tell me about them.
You know, one I do them. So I mean, and the thing is that my experience, and especially after blogging for years and years, right? It just kind of started with the blogging giveaways. When we would do blog giveaways, it just seemed to me that people would show up for the blog giveaway and then disappear.
That's really interesting.
So either they hear that a giveaway is happening, and so they come, they like the page, they stay and they say, oh, that's great, I really wish I could win.
Yeah.
And then when they don't win, they're disappointed.
Yeah.
And they go away.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with either, a fan who's not really a fan.
Yeah.
Someone who's not engaged with your brand in any way.
Yeah.
And then you have to decide, like, is that someone I still want, to sit here and pitch my message to, which they're not interested in the other parts of your brand.
Yeah.
They're not interested in the fact that, I have heirloom tools and, that I have skull t-shirts or whatever. They came to win the widget.
Yeah.
And they didn't win the widget.
Yeah.
And then they disappear.
Yeah. No,
and so giveaways have like this own culture, and especially when people, I mean, it's great to have a hashtag giveaway.
Yeah.
But there's people who like literally just follow hashtag giveaway just to enter giveaways, and they're not even quilters.
That's amazing.
They're kind of like playing the odds, know?
Like gamblers, right. Yeah, that's really
exactly,
interesting.
Totally like gambling. And again, it creates sort of this disappointment, because it's either something that they wouldn't normally purchase.
Right.
So they were never a customer of your product to begin with.
Yeah.
Or, and now that being said, I do them.
Yeah. You do them. You do them on your live show,
I do
right?
them.
Yeah, and you did the chair.
I do them on my live show. Yeah,
right.
I did the chair. And that one was for reaching a certain number of likes on my page. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be doing another one when I hit another certain number of likes on my page. Mm-hmm. But, ultimately, are people going to be sharing me, hopefully, because they want to help me get to the next plateau, which I've said is 4,000, right? So if I reach 4,000 followers, I'll give away another thing. And it's going to be a fairly expensive thing. That's part of my marketing budget. Mm-hmm. But then I have to look at, is that marketing budget the same if I took that money and put it into Facebook advertising that would give me a more engaged customer?
Right. No, I hear you. And we've got a response back that people are like that, not that into the giveaway this week. So I thought that was really interesting that they're willing to, experience it with me and all that. But there's not like a huge outcry like we love. A few people have been like, we love giveaways, but others were like, we really just like the podcast. We don't really need a giveaway. So I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think you're hearing, so your market is really in tune with what you have, right?
Yeah.
Is a really curated following.
Yeah.
And they're saying, that's not really what we're here for.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to do that. From a branding perspective, your market's telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing.
So the question
which
that
is great.
Which is great. But so I think that's so interesting, right? So we've learned all this stuff about giveaways, but I don't know if we'll do another one. But the on the other side of it, we've got companies that are willing to give us product for giveaways, which is so interesting too.
Right.
That they see it as like, yeah, we want, and we found a great app that helps us with giveaways. So that was interesting. But
yes.
I don't know. The whole thing's been really interesting and slightly stressful because you're, I don't know, just all stressful.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of find them, again, I find them sometimes a little bit necessary. Sometimes I feel like they're sending the wrong message.
Yeah.
And especially if you're a brand that, you guys are more what I would consider, lifestyle brand, right? So you don't have products to particularly sell, you're
No.
saying we're the quilting army
Yeah.
and be part of our army because we're
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. That's pretty much it. That's right.
that is a different, right. And that's a great position to be in, because then you can say, right, a lifestyle brand is able then to say, okay, marketers, to appear on our page, you have to jump through these many hoops to reach our customers.
Yeah.
And marketers will decide whether or not they're willing to jump through those hoops or not.
Yeah.
So when it comes to someone like me, where I'm an actual product brand, right?
Yes, you are,
so
right.
I have something to
You're
sell.
not just, yeah, like you're real. We're just pretend, right? So that's what's so interesting.
No,
you know?
That's not it at all, because a
Well, I feel
lifestyle
that
brand
way, you
can
know,
absolutely have something,
Yeah.
absolutely something to sell,
Yeah.
right? And this is the thing, a lifestyle brand can be monetized, and
Yeah.
people just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Oh, my Alexa apparently is listening to me
Really?
downstairs.
Really?
Yeah, I must have said something that sounds like her.
That's so funny.
That is really funny. Anyway, so the thing is that, so for me, right, where I have products to sell,
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing that I can do is give away my own product, because then
No way.
people
Yeah.
are on my page to try to win it, and they will never buy it.
That's really interesting.
And so to me, it's like almost like the worst thing I can do is give away my own stuff.
That's so interesting. Isn't it?
Because really then people are just kind of waiting until my next big giveaway.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that lesson really early on,
Yeah.
because there were people who would say in the comments things like, like, I've been wanting one of these for so long, and I hope I win. And I always think, like, what would it take for me to get you to buy it
Right.
if you don't win it?
Yeah.
And then I keep thinking that was like a huge mistake on my part. Like,
That's
I
really
shouldn't give
interesting.
away my own stuff.
That's very
So
interesting.
I give away other stuff,
Yeah.
right? So either things that other companies give me, or I buy things specifically to give away, like I did this week. On my Facebook Live video, I gave away a pack of vintage chenille cut squares. That's not something that you can get everywhere. It was very specifically at the show that I went to. So that's like the weird stuff that it's not associated with my brand, because I have some like vintage flair, and I felt like that was a nice tie-in. But then it wasn't specifically any of my own stuff I was giving away.
Yeah.
But do I think that people logged onto my video specifically to try to win it? I don't think so.
That's really interesting.
And, who knows?
That's really interesting. So we don't want to create that culture. I mean, really, the other thing I saw with these, like, as I've been following giveaways, is that people may have a huge following, but they're not getting a lot of people participating in things. So I thought that was really interesting too.
Right.
That the percentage is really low, like low.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that was another thing that was kind of like, well, can we get the quilting army to do something? Like, can we train them? Like, they're going to listen. So they know that's this, like, I'm not secret about it. But the idea is, like, if you call the quilting army and say, hey, you guys, can you, go see something, that they actually do it? Like, can you really command an army that sort of, on their own free will, of course, but that you have strong participation? Because I remember when we were in class, when you were teaching that class, that you were like, my following isn't bazillion people, but I have really loyal, dedicated people. And that's really different than like having numbers that are huge, but that no one shows up. So, and
Absolutely.
I'm seeing that in these, like, because I'm watching everything right now. So I'm seeing that people aren't doing, like, you're getting like, a huge group, say 70,000 people, and then you get 100 people participating. So
right. And so
really
exactly. And
right?
you have to really, you have to weigh, what is it what is the value per follower?
Yeah.
And I don't think that a lot of people analyze that kind of granular data.
Yeah.
And this is, again, granular data is what I did in my other life, right? My comic book job, right? It was analytics and store